The world was tricked into hating Lionel Messi. Think about that for a second. Just 4 years ago, he was football's greatest hero.
The little boy from Rosario, Santa Fe, has just pitched up in heaven.
The man who completed the impossible in Qatar. Fans cried with him, rivals applauded him. The entire football world celebrated him.
His legacy as one of the world's greatest ever players was never in doubt, but he will now go down as a World Cup winner.
Then, everything changed. Suddenly, Lionel Messi became football's biggest villain.
This idea that Messi is some godlike, untouchable number one figure, he's not even the best Argentinian footballer of all time.
But here's the strange part. Messi didn't change. His football is still elite. His personality didn't suddenly become toxic. He still carried Argentina to another World Cup final at 39 years old.
It wasn't, that was not the image and the memories that we wanted to have in the last dance of Lionel Messi.
So, what actually happened? We're exposing the exact moment the narrative flipped. From fake images that fooled millions, to viral conspiracy theories, selective clips, and outrage that spread faster than the truth itself. Because by the end of this video, you'll realize something shocking. The biggest story of the 2026 World Cup wasn't what Lionel Messi did. It was what people were convinced he did. For almost 30 years, Argentina was the team everyone felt sorry for. They had the talent, the flair, the moments of magic. But somehow, they always found a way to fall short right when it mattered. Fans across the world rooted for them, the way you root for a friend who keeps almost winning. Then, something happened. Argentina stopped being the nearly team and became the team everyone wanted to see fail. There's actually a name for this in sociology. It's called tall poppy syndrome, and it's simple. The taller a poppy grows in the field, the more people want to cut it down. The more you win, the more people want somebody else to win instead. Nobody roots for the team that already has everything. And Argentina got everything, fast. In 2021, Lionel Scaloni's side finally broke through and won the Copa America, ending that 18 years wait. A year later, they beat Italy at the Finalissima at Wembley, with Messi setting up goal after goal like the years hadn't touched him. Then came Qatar, the 2022 World Cup, the trophy that had haunted him since he was a teenager. 3 trophies in 2 years. 30 years of heartbreak erased in one incredible run. During that same stretch, Argentina played mean, tactical fouls, confrontations, mind games in penalty shootouts, players getting in the faces of opponents, and people loved it. It got called passion. It got called fighting spirit. Commentators praised a team that finally looked hungry enough to win. Fast forward to 2026, and that exact same style, the same tactical fouls, the same confrontations, the same mind games, got rebranded overnight. Suddenly, it wasn't passion anymore. It was entitlement. It was poor sportsmanship.
I hate the Argentine football team. They are the most despicable, time-wasting, cheating, cynical, nasty that have ever existed.
The same footage that made people cheer in Qatar made people furious 4 years later. So here's the question worth sitting with. If Messi's game barely changed and Argentina's approach barely changed, why did every single decision against them suddenly start looking like a conspiracy? Here's the number that should have ended every argument before it started. 8 goals, 4 assists at almost 40 years old.
He should have 10 goals at this World Cup. He has 8 goals, guys. He's broken the World Cup assist record all time.
That's not a guy fading out. That's a guy still doing things players half his age can't do. So, how does a player put up numbers like that and still walk away from a World Cup as the most hated man in the sport? Start with Algeria, because that's where the whole thing caught fire. Messi went into a challenge on Algeria's captain, Issa Mandi, and missed the ball completely. His studs raked down the back of Mandi's calf and Achilles.
Much as I love Lionel Messi,
That was a clumsy challenge, a bad challenge, and you're raking the back of somebody's cap all the way up from the knee down to his ankle. Should have been a red card.
A lot of people watching thought it was a straight red. The referee thought otherwise.
And it does play into that narrative of, yeah, this guys get a different sort of treatment. We don't even have to see the still. If you see the live video, it felt like a bad challenge to begin with.
He gave a free kick, showed no card, and never even sent it to the monitor. Messi stayed on. And later that game, he scored a hat-trick. 2 weeks later, a completely different player named Balogun got shown a straight red for a stamp that looked on the surface almost identical.
It was a really poor decision. It wasn't a challenge for the ball. Balogun just put his foot down onto the ground, and he landed on the Bosnian guy's ankle.
Social media did what social media does. Clips got placed side by side within hours. And the question everywhere became why one player walked and the other didn't.
There's clear situations. Let's turn it around to the foul of Messi, what he did, and he walked away with nothing. So there's always that where I say, like, the consistency has to be, that you cannot punish people or teams, and then other teams get not punished for the same situations.
Nobody stopped to check the angle, the speed of contact, or the 10 other similar incidents that tournament that got called the exact same way Messi's was. Then came Egypt, and this is the game that really moved public opinion. Egypt were up a goal, and dreaming of one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history, when their forward finished off a brilliant team move for what looked like a second goal. VAR pulled it back for a foul earlier in the build-up.
Yeah, listen, as far as I'm concerned, it was not used appropriately in this incident. I understand it's the beginning of the offensive play. The foul actually occurred, obviously, in the defensive half of Egypt, and therefore it was then ran over the halfway line, ran into Argentina's half, creating the opportunity for the goal to end up in the back of the net.
Minutes later, Mohamed Salah went down in the box and the referee waved play on.
The Salah one is more debatable. So Salah runs into the box. The ball goes up the other end, they score the winning goal. Before that, Salah goes in the box, much the same as Lisandro Martinez's foul. He goes into the box, Argentinian defender does get the ball, but then there's a secondary action where Salah's going to get the ball and he kicks Salah's foot, and it is a foul.
Argentina came back to win. Now, the review itself followed the actual laws of the game. VAR is allowed to look at a foul in the build-up no matter how many seconds earlier it happened. But Egypt's Football Federation didn't see it that way. They released a statement saying they couldn't stay silent over what they called biased officiating. And that's the moment it stopped being a football debate and became a story about corruption. Because once a federation says the word rigged, headlines write themselves. Switzerland added more fuel. Paredes got booked for a foul on Embolo. The review showed Embolo had actually dived, and the second yellow for simulation sent him off. Argentina won it in extra time. The Swiss manager came out furious, calling the decision unacceptable.
It's very, very frustrating from a Swiss point of view and from a player point of view.
But slow the tape down and Embolo clearly went to the ground with no contact. That didn't matter.
So Embolo, that was a terrible situation. Thank God we had VAR. Imagine you could play on and the Argentinian player will get his second yellow card. Maybe the Argentinian teams get out.
By that point, any decision that helped Argentina was getting labelled as proof the tournament was fixed for Messi. And underneath all of it sat a layer of stuff that was just flat out fake. There's an AI-generated image that went around showing Messi stepping on a player named Jed Spence during that tournament. It never happened. It was a picture built by software, and millions of people shared it like it was real footage. Then you've got a photo from 2013, Messi visiting Israel with Barcelona on what was actually a peace tour. That same trip included a visit to Palestine. Nobody shares those photos, just the Israel ones, stripped of context, recycled every few months to paint him as something he's never said or shown himself to be. The fireworks conspiracy might be the strangest one. A picture claiming the World Cup final was rigged because Argentina's celebration fireworks were blue circulated everywhere. It picked up hundreds of thousands of likes before anyone checked it. The fireworks were white. Multiple angles from multiple phones confirmed it. Didn't didn't matter. A petition demanding Argentina get kicked out of the tournament climbed past 20 million signatures, closing in on becoming one of the most signed petitions ever recorded, built almost entirely on stuff nobody bothered to verify. Here's what tied it all together. The loudest voices weren't the people who watched every match closely. They were casual fans who caught a clip, felt something, and hit share. Outrage got rewarded every single time facts didn't. Then came the final itself, and Spain didn't need a conspiracy to beat Messi. They just built a plan that erased him. Instead of chasing him with one man, Spain packed the midfield and cut off every passing lane. Before it opened, Messi finished the match with 54 touches across 120 minutes. Not one of them came inside Spain's penalty box. Argentina as a team didn't manage a single shot on target in normal time. When the frustration finally boiled over, it happened fast. Molina went after Rodri. Paredes lost it completely, going at Eric Garcia and then Gavi. And in the middle of all that chaos, Messi just stood near the center circle, watching it unfold without stepping in. Clips of him standing there spread everywhere within minutes, turned into proof that he'd stopped caring, that leadership had failed. Nobody asked why Spain's captain wasn't shown pulling his own players apart. The double standard only ran one way. Captains get blamed for fights they didn't throw a single punch in, but only if their name is Messi. Right in the middle of that chaos came the moment that got picked apart the most. As players surrounded the referee, Spain's Cucurella walked over and briefly covered his mouth while talking to Messi. Messi turned straight to the referee, pointing at him.
There was a moment last night when he tried to get Cucurella sent off, because Cucurella went like that on his hand, literally like that. And Messi immediately ran off like the school sneak to get him red carded. Under
a brand new rule that tournament, covering your mouth during a confrontation could get you sent off, since it's been used before to hide offensive language. To Argentina, that was a captain fighting for his team using a rule that existed for exactly that reason. To everyone else, it looked like a 40-year-old hunting for a technicality instead of just playing the game out.
Right, but secondly, not Mr. Nice Guy after all. Not Mr. Halo Boy. Not Mr. Saint Lionel. He deliberately tried to get Cucurella sent off in the most shameless, horrible manner imaginable.
And what's crazy about it all that nobody mentioned, a game before the final against England, Rice covered his mouth while speaking to Lionel Messi, and Messi didn't complain or report it to the referee. None of that was taken out of proportion, but this incident was. None of it changes what football has always done with its biggest names. Maradona scored with his hand in front of the entire world.
He was a rascal in one situation with a handball. He said it was the hand of God. I said it was the hand of a rascal. And I'm right.
And he's still spoken of like a saint.
Was he the greatest player you ever faced?
Yes, no doubt, he was the best. At that period, he was the best.
Zidane headbutted a man in the World Cup final, on the biggest stage the sport has.
Sincerely, I didn't expect what he did.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Imagine if I say that like that.
And he's still one of the most respected figures in the game.
I'm so respect him about what he did in a player career, also in manager career.
Beckham got sent off for England and became public enemy #1 for years.
With the sending off, I think what led after for the next few years, I think for me personally, that was the most difficult time for me in my career.
And now he's out here as an ambassador for the sport that once burned his shirt in effigy. Greatness always gets attacked right before it gets forgiven. None of the noise changes what actually happened on the pitch. A 39-year-old dragged an imperfect Argentina team to back-to-back World Cup finals, still putting up numbers players half his age can't touch. The hate says more about the people spreading it than it ever will about the player who caused it. Every petition, every fake image, every rigged narrative was about them, not him. The cameras caught his tears after that final whistle. But they already caught a career too big to be erased by a bad week on social media.